Hey everybody, Matty Ice here, and in today's video I'm going to be taking you through the new dungeon, Ghosts of the Deep. Now this guide is going to have all the encounters, my loadout recommendations and some tips and tricks, as well as the 2 secret chests. I'm going to be showcasing one of the collectibles just because I don't have all of them figured out yet, and it's just the one that I found on my blind run. But yes, I'm going to be showcasing all of that and making a separate guide for the location of the collectibles when I get them all. If you do find this video helpful, I would greatly appreciate it if you could like it and subscribe to the channel, as it really does help me out and it'll keep you informed for when I have those new videos coming out. But let's get into this first encounter. Now, you have to wander around this whole area until you find this ritual location, kind of in the back middle of the map, kill the 2 knights that are next to this green door, and that's going to spawn an ogre. The ogre spawns on one of 3 paths leading to this central location, and when you kill it, it's going to be similar to the Wrathborn hunts, where it drops a little bit of green goo that you have to wander around and follow. Follow them until you get to the next location, which is going to be denoted by a symbol in the air. These symbols are pretty familiar if you're used to looking at the hive stuff. I'm sure you have your own fun names for them, but I'm going to be using my names for the duration of this video, so I hope that helps out. When you get to the 3rd and final location, after you've kind of gone through all the ads, there's going to be a light-bearing hive. Killing the ghost is going to give you Vestige of Light, which you then need to take back to the central platform and kill a special wizard. When you kill that wizard, it's going to drop Deep Sight. You need to activate the Deep Sight, which is going to reveal some little totems you can dunk in, and you have to dunk it, guess what, in the symbol that matches. Surprise, surprise, super hard mechanic. Rinse and repeat this 3 additional times for a total of 4 dunks, and that's this whole encounter. So it's not too challenging. Kind of like always, Bungie just introduces the encounter and the mechanics step by step. So matching the symbols, dunking them, that's really all you have to worry about here. The main threat that you're going to have is if the vestige runs out, it does kill you, and if you dunk in the wrong location, it kills you. So just be careful of that and make sure you get through. Now moving on to the platforming section, you're going to pretty much just be going down the whole time because you're going down into the deep. So again, surprise, surprise, that's what you need to do. If you're lost, can't figure out what to do, go down. There is a little bit of a trickiness here, jumping through like that broken fence and then off to a little conduit on the side here. But it's not too difficult of a platforming section. Just pretty much hold W and you'll be okay. You're going to keep progressing until you get to a section that kind of opens up and a bunch of ads spawn in. When you get there, you just need to make sure you kill all the ads and that's going to open the next way down. So I don't really know why they have these ads here and why they don't just let you keep going. It's not like there's anything challenging that spawns. It's just kind of generic hive. But this is the part that takes you into the water. So you're going to keep progressing downward, and when you get to the bottom of this section, you get to actually go in the water. Now, just like before in the seasonal activities, if you've done any of those, the water is going to restrict your movement, and it's going to be kind of annoying to walk around. But the main thing you need to keep an eye out for are the bubbles. So those bubbles that extend your duration of being able to stay in the water, they are shared across your fire team. So if one of your fire team members takes it, it deletes it for everyone else. So you need to make sure you're grouped together or spread far enough apart because they do take a long time to respawn. So you want to make sure you keep the group together and don't take each other's bubbles, otherwise you will get crushed to death by the pressure. Keep progressing until you get to a section where you get to actually fight some hive while underwater. This is going to be where the first secret chest is. So keep note of where you enter this area, clear out all the hive, and then you need to work your way back to that entrance, but do it from above the ground. So you're going to platform a little bit onto the side here, and just make your way back to that spawning door. You'll see a little cave with another water wall in it, and that's where the chest is. You don't have to go into that water wall, it just takes you back to the same entrance that you came in before, but it's just something that you can note. So collect your loot or save it for your next attempt because you've only gotten 1 piece of gear so far, and then keep progressing. I am going to showcase where one of the little collectibles are here that I found. So when you get to an area here where you got this big glowing light in the background, go right instead of left, and you're going to see a little calcified looking fragment. These are the collectibles for this area, and they do seem to have a noise associated with them, but I don't know if that's just the plant life that makes that noise or if it's the actual calcified fragment thing. But either way, collect it if you want, or just wait until the whole guide comes out. Either way, you're going to keep going forward, and you're going to keep going until you get to the section where you have a little loosened hive underwater. This is actually going to be the next boss. So he will try to hunt you down while you're in the water, and will actually try to kill you. Every time he hits you, it takes about half of your pressure resistance away, so make sure you don't have him hit you during the encounter. So for this one, I recommend a big ad clear loadout, and then either Legend of Acreus for damage or swords. You're going to be doing a lot of close range fighting for DPS, but let's talk about how you get there first. So when you start the encounter, there's going to be 3 blistering knights, one in the left, middle, and right. When you kill them, it's going to spawn a giant ogre. Killing that ogre sends the boss back into the water, and it spawns a deep sight, kind of where the little acolytes were at the beginning and where that little fire is. Activating the deep sight will reveal 3 symbols on the side of the wall, on these little circular plates. Keep note of these symbols, because you have to go and activate those underwater. So you go into the little puddle, there's several of them around. They each drop you in different spots so you can't get camped by the boss, but you need to go into the water and find those symbols. Activating each of those symbols will spawn a Lucent Hive Wizard up top, and that's how you get those Vestiges of Light. So you need to activate all 3 in order to dunk all 3. You don't have to dunk these in any particular order, at least not that I've found, but it seems to be the best way is send one person down into the water to activate all 3 symbols, while the other people stay up and clear ads. You could potentially send 2 people down, but you don't want to get in each other's way, because again, those bubbles are limited and they're not shared. So again, just like before, kill the Lucent Hive Wizard, break the ghost to get the Vestige of Light. Do this 3 different times because there's 3 different symbols and 3 places to dunk, and then that's how you start your damage phase. Now the damage phase starts, again, as soon as you dunk that 3rd symbol, but you can't quite go right into damage. You have to kill this well knight first, and doing so will drop a little puddle on the ground that lets you break the immune shield of the boss. So this is why I think swords are best, or again, shotguns, Legend of Acreus, something like that. I don't think the piercing light buff extends if you step out of the circle, so I recommend just staying close together and just doing it from inside of a Well of Radiance. So you rinse and repeat this until you need to kill him. Again, Sunbracers, they're great because you get the ignition. Any kind of Titan Super will really do a good job here. Otherwise, just swords, Wither Horde, whatever you need to do to kind of melt this boss. You get about 30 seconds of damage time once you get the knight to spawn. So if you take too long to kill the knight or take too long to do whatever, you're going to waste your damage. One thing to note is he does drop a ghost when he dies, so you need to crush that ghost to actually complete the encounter. Otherwise, who knows what's going to happen. I didn't want to chance it and risk him respawning with full health, half health, whatever. We were taking no chances on this one. But that is the second encounter, and in order to progress, you need to go into the water and find this little area that leads upwards into a new water room. So this is going to be one of the sections that was previously sealed off by a green door, and you just now need to keep progressing. You want to keep progressing until you get to an open area here, which has a bunch of wizards and some shriekers and some other ads around. This is going to be where the second secret chest is, and it's right before the final boss. Now make sure you clear out all these different ads, and then when you get to the very end, there's going to be a giant ogre that spawns. Kill him, and the little gazebo that he spawns underneath is where the secret chest is. The secret chest is actually on top of that gazebo, so you want to jump on the pillars on the side, and then jump on top of the little platform, and the chest is going to be right in the middle of that gazebo looking thing. Alright, moving on to the final boss. Now, I'm going to try not to spoil too many things, but it's going to be pretty obvious as you go through the encounter. You are now at the body of Oryx. So there is a hive trying to give Oryx a ghost or resurrect him or something. I'm not really sure about the lore, but the mechanics for this fight are pretty straightforward, but they are a little lengthy. So the boss is going to start out by spawning a bunch of hive moths that are angry at you. You want to kill those as quickly as possible, and then I recommend killing the boomer knights that are spread around, as they do not respawn and they make your life difficult. Otherwise, collect the deep sight, and it's going to show you a triangle across 3 body parts of Oryx. Going to each of those body parts, you're going to get a ritual conductor buff if you're standing in this circle that's kind of highlighted on the ground. And while you're in that circle with that buff, you need to kill the special knight that has a sword that runs at you. So doing so will spawn 2 symbols in the air that you need to go back to the previous part that you activated in order to line up. So you need to take that circle and the orc symbol and you need to line them up with each other, similar to like the Witch Queen campaign where you had to go and do the memories. Lining them up will create a line and connection between those 2 parts, and it will spawn a symbol above one of them. You don't have to worry about that symbol just yet, as that will be part 2 of this whole encounter. So just keep progressing with the deep sight and killing the knights in the circles until you get all the symbols to activate. You just need to make sure you kill the knight in the circle. You don't need deep sight active, but just doing so helps to make sure you're in the right spot. But once you've lined up the final symbol and there's little glyphs above all of the 3 points, you get to move on to phase 2. Phase 2 is where you go into the different water rooms throughout this area. There's 6 doors that lead to 3 rooms because each room has 2 doors, 2 by his head, kind of 2 by his left hand and foot, and then 2 by his right hand. Each room is going to have a distinct lucent hive in it, a knight, a wizard, or an acolyte. Killing them is going to give you a buff. But before you kill them and crush the ghost, you need to keep a lookout for the symbol that's in this room, because that's the symbol that you have to dunk this buff in. The symbol disappears as soon as you crush the ghost, so I recommend taking a double check before you crush the ghost, and just make sure you get the right symbol. In this example, I have table, which is what I'm calling that 3 dots with a line and 2 legs, so I need to go dunk this one at table. To do it, I have to get deep sight, because that lets you see those little black orbs, and that's where you actually dunk this at. There's no animation for the dunk, so you can just kind of do it on a drive-by, but there is an animation for the deep sight. So you want to make sure you have either someone with good resilience or good protection getting that deep sight, or just have a teammate whose job it is to grab deep sight. Now once you've dunked all 3, now you get to do DPS, and again, you get to break an immune shield before you do that. I recommend using Leviathan's Breath. This one is actually really good exotic to use here because it staggers the boss, and if you hit those crits, you get like that little bit of Archer's Tempo speed, but the boss teleports around, so rockets are not really a good idea for this one. Machine guns, okay, Thunderlord was fine, but it wasn't great. But as a squad, you should be able to melt this boss pretty quickly with Archer's Tempo, Leviathan's Breath. If you don't have the Catalyst, if you have tracking rockets, you could try it. If you have a sniper or linear fusion, those are also fine. But I just recommend Leviathan's Breath if you've got the Catalyst. Again, just kind of rinse and repeat that until you kill the boss. And just like last time, make sure you crush that ghost. This is a terrible fight to want to repeat. The boss has a ton of health, around 12 million, and you don't want to screw that up. But that is going to be this whole encounter. So thank you all so much for watching. Again, if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. If there's anything I might have missed, please leave a comment below and I'll try to get back to you. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.